Hi, and welcome to Ask Evette. So we had a question where someone asked that they said they're curious about this ancestral trauma and the behavioral patterns that I keep talking about, how it's being passed down from parent to parent. What is it that you mean by that? Are you suggesting that there's genetic behavioral patterns that's being passed down?
Hi, and thank you for sending me this awesome question. And here is your answer.
Hi, everyone. Evette Rose here, founder of Metaphysical Anatomy Technique, which is a beautiful, gentle, graceful healing technique that's designed to help you to shift trauma, depression, anxiety, patterns that you have in your life that's just not serving you anymore, self-sabotage as well, but in such a beautiful and graceful way where you don't have to relive the past, and you can also shift it without needing to remember the root causes as to why you feel the way that you do. And you can find out so much more at evetterose.com. And guys, welcome to Ask Evette. And a really great question today, actually. I'm very intrigued. So this person said, I'm curious, is ancestral trauma the behavioral patterns that we pass down from your parents and then patterns passed down by their parents, etc.? Or are you suggesting that they are genetic behavioral patterns passed down? So, great question. I love this. So yes, there can be patterns and like little isms that's being genetically passed down as well, especially from mom and dad, because that's more evident, that's more easier to see because you can get that immediate feedback by saying, oh, when I do this, my mom does that. Or sometimes you hear mom and dad saying, oh my God, you're so like me. I do that too. So that's really great examples of how this can be passed down. That's an absolute fact. No one can even debate that. Now, my point, what I say is how patterns can be transferred from our ancestry is that, remember, it's now a proven fact that your life, a third of it, is unresolved stress coming forward from your ancestors. Things that they didn't complete is coming forward, because that's also what evolution does. Your DNA lineage will keep pushing the weak points and patterns out for it to be resolved. Not because it's trying to ruin your life, it's to be resolved, because the DNA lineage and evolution is all about the fittest surviving. It wants the strongest and the fittest. And that means it's going to pull out the weak patterns, the weak aspects in the DNA lineage, such as maybe, ways of thinking, emotional wounded stress that's not been dealt with, trauma that's causing the DNA lineage to become weakened, and approaches to life, just people's a certain type of attitude as well. And these patterns are coming through to be resolved. And if we don't resolve it, we continue to pass it down. We keep passing it down until the DNA lineage is like, this is not working. We're becoming weaker and weaker. We're not becoming stronger. Let's push out this pattern. Let's push out this genetic expression or this environmental epigenetic reaction, and let's be done with it. Because this is evolution. It sounds harsh. It sounds tough. But that's just how life is from a biological perspective. I'm not talking spiritual. Biological perspective, because listen guys, that's what we're having. We're having a physical biological experience. We might as well start to learn to understand why and how this works. So when certain patterns are coming forward, normally what you'll see is every third generation, severe trauma points and unresolved wounds and experiences that were not, where a resolution was not found for, that will be expressed in that every third generation, quite predominantly, quite strongly, right? Yes, you have mom and dad stuff, but and we look at the third generations, and that is the DNA lineage way of trying to push out unresolved trauma that's just not serving you anymore. The DNA lineage is all about strength and survival, right? We are even biologically programmed for survive, survive, survive. That's why people out there in the business industry are so competitive and they can be ruthless. It's coming from a place of lack, fear, and survival. We all call it ego. Well, ego as well, but it's actually survival. It's an instinctive response. But that instinctive response is triggered by trauma that sets forward a certain type of action and behavior of overcompensation. But that's not the point. The point over here now, what I'm trying to say is this is the patterns that we're looking at, right? So you're looking at unresolved trauma. So I wouldn't necessarily, it can become a genetic expression. And when it becomes a genetic expression, meaning that it's changed the DNA strand in its whole capacity permanently, is when trauma becomes so severe. And if that point of trauma is repeated throughout generation for at least 100 to 200 years, then absolutely it can become an engraved form and aspect and part of the DNA. but then it takes just as long to resolve it. So we can heal that expression in our life through epigenetics, collapsing the strand to switching it off. And if we did a job so good that it stays off for at least 200 years in the future, then now you have permanently changed the DNA structure of your DNA lineage. So there you have it. I hope that answers your question. It was a really great question there. And guys, keep asking these wonderful questions. I love connecting with you. And until next time, be the light that you are.
Guys, so there you have it. There is the answer to your question. And also remember, keep sending these really great questions, because your questions will also perhaps, trigger answers that can help so many other people that might be in the same place where they maybe feel stuck in their life. And awareness of a problem is a problem to have solved. And with that information, you can take active steps to start to create the life that you want, and to also know and understand where your blocks and challenges potentially could be. So guys, also remember to check out the description box here at the bottom also for all our upcoming events, and also remember to hit the notification button here that you subscribe, so that you can stay up to date with all these awesome questions that are being asked, and also the answers that I provide for you. So guys, keep sending these questions, and until next time, be the light that you are.